On tonight's episode of Top 5 with Joey Cassata, we're doing our top 5 Led Zeppelin deep tracks.
Welcome to Top 5 with Joey Cassata. Starring Joey Cassata.
Team Jesus, my friend. Am I walking around, Park?
Co-starring Ernie Palooza. And the Doctor, Tommy Snyder.
Goddamn.
Now here's your host, Joey Cassata.
All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Top 5. I'm your host, Joey Cassata.
And I'm the Piper, and I'm calling you to join me.
Ooh. I don't like when you give our show away with your little intro there, but I'm maybe only the diehards will know what the show is from that intro. I'm curious to see how many people guess it right off the bat. But
not helping.
Yeah, that's a good point. If you didn't guess, tonight's episode of Top 5, we're doing, and I can't believe we haven't done this yet. We're about 50 episodes in, and we haven't done our favorite Led Zeppelin deep tracks. Now, we're going to do the same debate as always. What the hell is a deep track? I got about 90 texts today with Ernie rules, handwritten notes, and then spreadsheets and all this other stuff. What do you got, Ern? What are we excluding from tonight's list?
All right. We are excluding the following Led Zeppelin tunes: Good Times, Bad Times, Dazed and Confused, Whole Lot of Love, Heartbreaker, Ramble On, Immigrant Song, Black Dog, Rock and Roll, obviously, Stairway to Heaven, Over the Hills and Far Away, too bad, one of my favorites, Dancing Days, Dire Maker, which is obviously Jamaica, but I'm doing it the way it's spelled, The Ocean, another great one, by the way, Houses of the Holy, Trampled Underfoot, another obvious one, Kashmir, Fool in the Rain, which was both of us last night.
It's true. That's true.
And All My Love.
Yeah, I definitely agree with all of those. None of those, I guess, would be considered a deep track, but I think there's a lot of others too that, we'll debate as we go. Zeppelin deep tracks, it's a tough thing to do because with some of the other bands we did, it was easy because we just picked the number one hits or top 10 hits, whatever it is. Zeppelin's weird like that. A lot of their songs weren't big hits, right?
Well, they refused to release them as singles.
Right.
Stairway to Heaven, they refused to cut it down to the size of a single.
Right. And, in their defense, too, a lot of their songs, even though they're one of the most iconic bands of all time, they're not like catchy, chorusy songs where they're top 40 hits. They're I think Led Zeppelin is an acquired taste.
I'm in agreement that they tend to not go for background vocals at all.
Ever, right?
We used to have a joke that, like, why do you never hear any of the other guys in the band? And then there's a song, Black Country Woman, where you actually hear Jimmy Page talk. And you hear how bad it's like, not even yet. that explains it.
I think the closest they ever got to backing vocals is the beginning of The Ocean when you hear bottom. We've done 4 already, and now we're steady. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bam, 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 bam. But yeah, I mean, I remember hearing Billy Squier saying he was writing Led Zeppelin songs, but with choruses. And it's kind of true if you listen to Billy Squier's songs.
He also said Led Zeppelin would have had hit singles if they kept it to 3 minutes long. And that was the Billy Squier experiment.
Yeah, listen, I think they did okay for themselves, Led Zeppelin, right? Do you think they did okay?
Yes.
Yeah. So let's dive in. So I have a feeling we maybe we'll have some crossovers here. Maybe we won't. But I know on tonight's episode, we're going to be arguing what's a deep cut, what's not a deep cut. That's really something I want to hear from everyone this week, because I know there's Led Zeppelin fanatics are going to yell at us. That's not a deep cut. What the hell are you guys doing? That's not off the BBC session, night 17, blah, 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 whatever. Let's see what we got. Ernie, you start. Number 5.
I'm glad to begin. All right, my number 5, Out on the Tiles, 1970. You know, all I need from you is all your love. You can hear, well, not with the way I sang it, but you can hear where Angus got the guitar sound from for AC/DC with the song, Can I Sit Next to You, Girl? You can hear it in this song. I think so.
Yeah, great pick. Definitely. I consider that a deep cut, even though I know it so well. But yeah, I don't think the casual Led Zeppelin fan is throwing on Out on the Tiles on Spotify. What do you think?
It's one of my favorites.
Yep.
They should.
Not bad. Not a bad little start.
Thank you.
All right. My number 5, I'm going to go with something. I think a lot of big Led Zeppelin fans consider this one of their best albums, but I consider this kind of, most people don't know this album. Everyone knows 2 and 4 and all that. Physical Graffiti is an incredible, incredible record. I'm going to go with In the Light.
Everybody needs a light. Ooh, yeah, yeah. Ooh, baby. Everybody. She's got that
Off of Physical Graffiti. Always one of my favorites. It always felt like 2 songs to me. Like the verses were so dreary and heavy, and then all of a sudden it's da 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 da. It's like super happy and cheery, and it completely different song. And then it goes back to the heavy, grungy, dreary groove that they set up, and then it goes back to this cheery, happy In the Light. No chorus to be found, no structure to be found, just a cool song kind of mapping its way around like in a circle. Great song.
I hate that choice.
Uh-oh. Yes. Please let that be your number 1.
Oh, boy.
All right.
Sounds
what do you got? Number 4.
Number 4. And I really love to say the title of this song for some reason. What Is and What Should Never Be. I think I'll talk something about this song. Every song from the first 2 albums has a certain sound, except this one. It kind of starts like something you would hear from a jazz group in a lounge or something, And if I say it to you tomorrow. Yeah, it sounds like sitting in a lounge like the jazz, eating dinner. But then later, it becomes a great song. Catch the wind, see you spin, sail away, live today, way up in the sky. But the wind won't blow. You really should know.
This is a good episode already. We got Ernie singing Zeppelin. The views are going to go through the roof. Or we're going to lose hundreds of views.
They're going to go somewhere. I love that part, though.
I got to tell you, listen, I'm not going to argue what's deep and what's not, but this one, I could have had this on my list. This is, to me, not a deep track, but I guess the casual Zeppelin fan who knows rock and roll and Stairway to Heaven, I guess they don't know this.
It's a radio an AOR song, but it wasn't on the list. What else I can do? I love it.
Hold on, you made the list,
but you okayed it.
Yeah, all right. I'll give it to you. Not bad, not bad. All right, my number 4. We're gonna go with something off of Presence. We're gonna go with Achilles' Last Stand. just a killer riff, this is Zeppelin at its finest. They just such a different song than In the Light, the absolute opposite end of the spectrum, just a driving song. It's much like Immigrant and all in that style of Zeppelin. If you don't know Achilles' Last Stand, go and check that riff out. Go out and drive your car and hit the highway and throw Achilles' Last Stand on.
Probably their heaviest tune.
Yeah, maybe. You like that one?
Oh yeah, I like all 11 minutes of it.
Is it that long?
I think so. Yeah.
All right, what do you got? Our number 3.
Number 3. As you know, I happen to be a big Sabbath fan. I might have mentioned this once or twice. I love music that scares me, and Sabbath, is where that comes from.
Oh, it scares me too.
But this is a more real situation than Sabbath singing about the devil. For me, this is Zeppelin's scariest song, When the Levee Breaks. I mean, you feel like you're in some little house with Robert Plant, staying up all night listening to the levee creaking and moaning as a storm is raging, knowing at any moment you might be dead.
Yeah. Again, to me, not necessarily a deep cut, but yeah, if we're talking about, people who don't, I mean, if we ask our wives, that song, they definitely don't know. I told my wife today we're doing a Led Zeppelin deep track. She always thinks Robert Plant sings like this, and that's how she knows Led Zeppelin. So for her, this would definitely be a deep track.
It's a good one.
Great, yeah.
I chose it.
Incredible song. There's not many bad Zeppelin songs, that's for sure.
The drum sound.
Oh,
between
incredible.
that and Kashmir, their best drum sound is those two songs.
Just obviously I'm a big Bonham fan. Here's the Bonham kit right there, the Amber Vista lights. It's you can't know, but it's everyone always says Bonham sound. Yeah, it had to do with Bonham's sound and the engineer, of course, but it's people don't realize it's not always the engineer and or the drums. It's most of the time the actual drummer. It's the way he played the drums. He hit a certain way that created that sound. And guitar players are the same way. I've played with many guitar players where it's not the amp, it's not the effects, it's their actual hands, the way they attack the strings and the way a drummer attacks the skins. That's what creates someone's sound. Alex Van Halen's snare sound is because of Alex Van Halen. I was talking to his roadie, his tech a while back, and his name is John Douglas, and I was asking him about Alex's snare sound, and he said, listen, there's really no secret. I can put 4 snares in front of Alex, tune them pretty much how Alex usually tunes them, but Alex will play them and they all sound like Alex. It's just the way people play their instrument.
I mean, you can't really call drums an instrument.
Well, I don't even know why I even have you on this podcast anymore. Your name is not even in the title.
Oh boy. You know what they call like a guy who hangs out with musicians?
Ernie?
A drummer.
You son of a bitch. All right. My number 3. I'm going to go with something off the very first Led Zeppelin record, which sometimes becomes my favorite. I kind of go back and forth. I know there's a lot of covers and stuff on that, but I'm going to go with How Many More Times.
How many more times treat me the way you wanna do? How many more times treat me the way you wanna
just one night, I think you were there, and ZO2 did a Zeppelin night, and we did a special show where we literally just did all of Zeppelin 1, covered, cover to cover, done, the whole Zeppelin 1. And it was, these songs, diving into these songs and playing them live, it was an incredible experience.
That's my favorite song from the first album. And Led Zeppelin 1 is my favorite Led Zeppelin album. But they're all great.
It's funny. You might be the only person besides me who kind of thinks that way. A lot of people don't love the first album because there's covers and, old blues style songs and stuff like that. They think Zeppelin didn't really become Zeppelin until 2.
I think Plant's voice is at his best.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I know we can't pick it, but Good Times, Bad Times. Oh, my God. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, once was having a discussion with somebody from work where what singer I prefer, Plant or Roger Daltrey. And my answer was really, how I got to be such a snob, I can't answer anything straight. As far as the first album, Plant, but then after that, I prefer Daltrey. And the question is, what happened to Plant, basically?
I love Plant's voice. Yes, did it get weaker as he got older and stuff? Yes, but 1, 2, 3, 4 Houses, Graffiti. Plant is, and he's a very unique singer too.
I think what happened to Plant, and this is true, this is just speculation now. Zeppelin was before the next step in music. I mean, they weren't truly heavy metal, but they were pushing in that direction. Yeah. And none of the equipment had gotten there yet. So he's destroying his voice every night of the and I think that's what happened. And I think he definitely sounds different after the first album.
I know what you're saying. Yeah, I think you're probably right. Touring and all that stuff, him going crazy every night, he probably blew his voice out a little bit, even if he blew it out 10%, and he's only at 90% from there on out. I agree, it's different. All right, what do you got? Number 2.
Number 2, it's got to be a deep track because it's not even on any album. Hey, Hey, What Can I Do?
I got a warm ball all day. I got a woman, she won't be true now. I got a woman, stay drunk all the time. I said I got a little woman and she won't be true.
What's that from?
I think it's the B-side of Immigrant Song. I'm pretty sure. I have to look it up to be positive.
I don't remember it.
If I ever do a Zepp tune for karaoke, it would be this one. I got a woman to stay drunk all the time. Isn't that really what we all want?
Oh, it's on Coda.
Yeah, that song. Yeah.
Oh, I know this. Yeah, nice.
I got a little woman and she won't be true.
We got to go karaoke soon. I haven't thrown up laughing, in a long time.
Oh yeah, but definitely. It's all coming back now anyway. I hope.
That's a good. Yeah, I think so too. That's a good one. Yeah, that's something that was completely off my radar. Coda. I mean, I know like you said, it was a B-side. Coda's, as much as I wanted to get something from Coda because it would have been deep, I never find myself putting Coda on. I know a lot of people are like, oh, that's a great record. I could do without it.
I hear you.
You know what I'm saying?
I feel you, yo.
All right. My number 2. We're going to go back to Physical Graffiti. And this, a little bit of the same feel as Achilles and stuff like that. We're going to go with the Wonton song. I'm not talking about a Chinese dumpling, Ern.
It's
It's one of my favorite songs. It's one of my favorite Bonham drum songs. I always teach this to students. It has such a great feel. There's some things that he's doing in there that I always love to show students, and they lose their minds when they see what's actually happening in that song. What an incredible song.
real good stuff. I have as I said, Led Zeppelin is my favorite, but Physical Graffiti is really up there too.
Yeah, as I was, obviously I'm a big Zeppelin fan, but as I'm really looking, I mean, I could have had 5 Physical Graffiti songs in my top 5 picks here. I purposely didn't because I didn't want to just pick Physical Graffiti, so I kind of mixed it up a little. All right, Ern, we are up to your number 1. We're flying here. Let me see what we got. We got number 5, Out on the Tiles. Number 4, What Is and What Should Never Be. Not really deep. Number 3, When the Levee Breaks. Number 2, Hey, Hey, What Can I Do? Number 1, Led Zeppelin Deep Track.
I hate this. In the Light.
Yes.
It probably is my all-time favorite Zeppelin song, deep cut or not.
Really?
Epic song, beautiful guitar riffs throughout the song, and it's such an epic. It's incredible.
And we've never talked about this before. I never knew that was your number 1 pick. I never knew you even liked that song.
It's great. It's my favorite.
And I love that it was my number 5. I immediately Crush Your Dreams.
Oh, it might have been your number 4.
Or was no, it was my number 5.
Well,
I'm gonna recap mine right now. I love it.
yeah, it's wonderful.
All right, so here's my top 5. My 5, In the Light. Number 4, Achilles' Last Stand. Number 3, How Many More Times. Number 2, The Wonton Song. My number 1, and it's funny, this might be my favorite Zeppelin song, deep track or not. I got to go with something off the first record again. Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You.
Baby, baby, I'm gonna leave you. I said, baby, you know I'm gonna leave you. Leave you in the summertime. Leave you when the summer comes a-rolling. Leave you when the summer comes along. Baby, I wanna leave you. I ain't joking, woman, I've got to ramble.
It's always the song I always go back to. It's like I said, I hate saying it again, but when we did that ZO2 Zeppelin night, this is a song I always wanted to play live. It is so good. Plant's voice in this song is at his all-time peakness. It is through the roof, incredible. You listen to that song and he's screaming, "Do it, Ern, do it, baby."
I didn't hear you say the song. My
Oh.
thing lagged or something.
Babe, I'm gonna leave you.
Oh, that's great. That's a old Joan Baez song.
I knew it was a cover, but I didn't know whose.
Yeah.
Do you
Yeah,
remember on the way to the ZO2 Zeppelin night, I was still kind of learning the songs. I had no idea how some of them went
Yep.
because we
That
really
was-
didn't rehearse. We just said, we kind of got together once and went over a little bit of arrangements, but we said, let's do Led Zeppelin 1. We are okay. Let's do like it was nothing.
Classic. Great album. Great song.
Yeah, I always go back to it. You know, I know people love the heavy Zeppelin songs, but this is really heavy and beautiful at the same time. It's one of those really moody songs. It's just ba-da-da-da-da, bop, 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 bop. When it goes into all that stuff, it's just so incredible. All right, let's do some honorable mentions. Ern, give me one or two. What do you got?
From Physical Graffiti, Sick Again.
Ooh.
Most decadent, most raunchy of Zeppelin songs. It falls between AC/DC and Aerosmith, really. I hear both in the song. Love it.
What year's Physical Graffiti again?
75. I also threw it out another honorable mention. I got a bunch of honorable mentions. The Battle of Evermore.
Oh yeah.
Which is actually a duet with the folk singer Sandy Denny. And nowadays, that's all Robert Plant does is sing with folk singers.
I never even knew that was a duet.
Yeah, she's the other voice on the song. Three more honorable mentions now that I still have the floor. How Many More Times was one of my honorable mentions.
Oh yeah.
Also from Physical Graffiti again, I really like Night Flight.
Yeah.
Where I thought it should have been a single. It's almost in the same vein as Houses of the Holy for me, where it's so pop.
Great song.
I like Celebration Day as well.
Yeah, Celebration Day's on 3, right?
Yeah.
It's funny, 3 to me, besides Coda, might be the weakest. I know people love it. I just never got into it. I try all the time, and I just don't love it. I always just consider it the acoustic record. I know it's not because it has Immigrant Song and stuff, but I don't know. Something about it I just never got into. I think it was a little bit of the production. It just, I don't know. They lost a little bit of that edge that I wanted.
Celebration Day though is Immigrant Song. It's rock.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. It's still a great song, but I'm talking, one of my least favorite Led Zeppelin albums is still one of the best albums of all time. Okay, so a couple of my honorable mentions here. One off, I mean, obviously Led Zeppelin 4 is probably their biggest record, right? Because of Stairway and all that. Misty Mountain Hop is such an underrated song. People never remember that song off of 4.
I'm so glad you chose that song because I don't like Four Sticks.
I don't love Four Sticks. It's okay. I don't love it. I think 4 in general is overrated. It's a great record, but I think it's overrated.
I like 4, but Four Sticks, that song's got to go.
Yeah, boom, 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 boom.
I feel like I wrote that somehow.
Hey, baby. Another one, All Physical Graffiti, I absolutely love, and I would have had it on my list, but I didn't want All Physical Graffiti songs. 10 Years Gone.
Oh, that's a great one.
So good.
The bridge in the middle is incredible.
Incredible. And
I really need somebody. That part.
Yes. And then a one-off Presence, Royal New Orleans. Always liked it. Great song, great feel. Presence, I feel like is a little bit of an underrated record. Into the Outdoor, Presence doesn't get some of the just that I think it deserves.
You know what I like from Presence? I like Hot's On for Nowhere. I kind of like that.
I don't remember it.
It's near the end.
Yep.
Oh, that song.
That's all. That's every Zeppelin song. What are you talking about?
And Into the Outdoor just is not a good album, really.
So what's the story with Coda? So Coda was never an official record. They just put that out afterwards, like of stuff that never made records. What was that?
Yeah, it's the songs that they never put on an album.
And what year was that?
82.
And what year was Into the Outdoor? 79?
Either 78 or 79.
Because Bonham dies when? 80?
Yeah.
Right. Crazy. This is a good one. Again, I'd love to hear people's thoughts on, number one, our picks. Are they deep cuts? Number two, if you haven't heard any of these, or these are songs that aren't really on your radar, what I would love people to do when they watch an episode of ours, I would love them to, if they're on Spotify or Apple Music, or even just have a great library of music on their phone, YouTube, whatever, make a playlist. Go make a playlist of our picks and do a 10-song playlist and let us know what you think of all the songs. I'm sure there's some that you either aren't familiar with or just aren't on your normal everyday Zeppelin playlist, or even just playlists in general. Go out and throw a playlist together, because that's kind of what I do. When I'm making my list, I'll make my top 5 with my honorable mentions, and I'll listen to it as a playlist to kind of see which songs are living up to one another. I never actually make a playlist with your songs, Ernie, because I usually don't like them.
You like one of them. You like In the Light.
Well, that's my song because I picked it first.
Yeah. Sure.
This was a good one. What else? Any last words here? What do you got?
No, I'm glad we finally got the Led Zeppelin. I mean, the Led Zeppelin to the 70s is what the Beatles are to the 60s, you know.
It's funny too, when I was doing this figuring out my top 5 deep tracks, what I realized about Zeppelin, it's almost the opposite for me as the Beatles. Obviously, the Beatles are one of my favorite bands too, but Zeppelin, the weird, spacey type songs I like by Zeppelin, like In the Light, 10 Years Gone, stuff like that. But the Beatles, I don't like when they go there. I don't like, God, what's the song on Revolver and that I don't like? Harrison's song.
Love You Too.
Yeah, the sitar stuff, some of the weird sitar stuff that I always find myself skipping that stuff on the Beatles, where the Zeppelin stuff, I feel like they did it, not that they did it better, but they did it more to my liking.
So is Zeppelin heavy metal?
No, I don't think Zeppelin's heavy metal.
Age-old question.
No, I say no. What do you think?
I say no as well, but they're important to heavy metal.
Absolutely. Everything that comes before a new genre is important to it. But I think I would never consider Zeppelin heavy metal. But that's a conversation for another day. What's heavy metal? What's considered heavy metal? Is Van Halen heavy metal?
In retrospect, I'm not so sure.
No, it's not. I consider
Priest. Well, we said they were when they came out.
Yeah, of course. Well, everyone was lumped into that category back then. But I think Priest, Maiden, Sabbath, to me, that's metal. You know what I mean? And I think there's offshoots of metal too, if you want to call it hair metal or commercial metal, and then grunge metal or whatever you want to call it. There's all different offshoots, but I don't consider Zeppelin. I can still consider Zeppelin classic rock.
Ozzy was very upset when he heard Led Zeppelin 1 for the first time, because he couldn't believe how heavy it was.
What year was Sabbath 1? The first Sabbath?
70.
And what year was Zeppelin 1? 68 or 69?
69, but Led Zeppelin 2 also came out in 69.
Jesus Christ.
Led Zeppelin 1 came out in January of 69. It was like way at the beginning.
Yeah, that's back then when people actually made music for a living. Kiss released 2 albums or more for the first 10 years. It's like heaven. I think they released 1 in the last 35.
They're all sick now.
Yeah, unfortunately, Gene and Paul both have COVID, which is insane. I don't know what the hell. It's what a crazy time.
They already replaced the other 2 all the time. I guess they could replace those 2.
Just put anyone in the makeup. What's different at this point, right? No one even knows.
The original Ace and Gene.
That would be great. Leave Tommy and Eric as Ace and Peter, and bring the original Ace and Peter back as Gene and Paul. Oh, that would be good.
Who gets the last laugh?
Woo! That would be epic. All right. This is a good episode. Everyone, send your emails to top5withjoeycassata@gmail.com. That's top5withjoeycassata@gmail.com. Let us know what you thought of our list. Let us know some topics you're into. Let us know what you thought of some previous episodes. Just give us some general feedback. If you're on YouTube, leave us some comments. Most of our listeners are on, whether it's Spotify or Apple Music, it's usually on just podcasts. So if you can, go to iTunes and give us a great review. It always helps get all of our beautiful sponsors from Australia, right, Ern?
Oh, yeah.
What else? Any last words?
Nope. Goodbye, everybody.
That's it. See you, everybody. We'll see you next week.